Now, U.S. officials say President Barack Obama has ruled out the possibility of a peace agreement between the Israelis and Palestinians before leaving office in 2017. U.S. officials have been cited as saying that Obama came to the conclusion based on a realistic assessment of the situation. Obama has always described a two-state solution as the sole way to settle the Israeli-Palestinian issue. The officials spoke to reporters ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the White House on Monday. The recent flare-up in Palestinian territories and the nuclear agreement between Iran and the P5+1 group are likely to be high on the agenda of the two leaders' meeting. Let's speak to Max Igan. He's a radio host and political commentator, and he joins us via Skype from Brisbane. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Mr. Igan. Now, first of all, is this comment by officials from the Obama administration to be taken that Obama is okay with the status quo as it stands right now?
Well, it would appear to be that way. The problem with the US approach to the problems in Israel and Palestine is they've always seen as the two-state solution as being the only solution. But the two-state solution cannot possibly work. What we need is a democratic nation. If Israel is going to exist at all, it needs to be an openly democratic nation. The two-state solution is basically seeking a way to legitimize Israel in existing as it is, which is a brutally apartheid regime where rights are only given to those who are of the Jewish persuasion. That's just the way it is. You cannot have a Jewish state, which is a supremacist state, which gives certain leniencies and leeways to those of the Jewish faith and not to other people, and call it a democracy. You simply can't have it. And you can't accept the Palestinians, you can't expect them to live next to this state, which is an absolute pariah and an affront to all that it means to be democratic. So that is the problem with the process. They're just not looking at it realistically. I mean, he claims that he's looking at it with a realistic perspective, that he's not going to be able to achieve peace. But the reason he's not going to be able to achieve peace is because he's not looking at it realistically from the onset, because he's not looking at it as an openly democratic state. He's looking for a way to justify and legitimise the apartheid Jewish regime the way it is this day, which is built on a lie. It's been based on extremism and terrorism since the very onset, since its very founding. And it needs to be addressed. We need to have an openly democratic state for all people who live within the boundaries of Israel-Palestine as one state, or there will be no solution at all. And
right
frankly,
now, Mr. Igan, let me just jump in there very quickly, if I may. Then what is this meeting going to be about between Obama and Benjamin Netanyahu? If Obama is okay with the situation as it stands in the occupied Palestinian territories, then what are they going to talk about?
Well, they're going to be talking about how to fund more money to Israel. That's what they're doing. I mean, Israel's already said it wants billions of dollars more in military funding, and Obama has agreed to give them more aid and increased funding. That's what it's going to be about. And it'll also be looking at ways that I mean, Israel desperately wants to undermine any deal with Iran, so they're obviously looking at ways they can do this and sort of keep it under the board and keep it sort of legitimate. I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu is a snake in the grass. And the fact that we can have Israelis petitioning for changes in US policy towards Iran from the beginning, I mean, this is ridiculous. How many people would go to Israel and petition Israel to changes in Israeli policy towards other countries? I mean, it's absurd. So this is just a puppet show, and Benjamin Netanyahu will be making sure that he's got his foot in the door for the next presidency.
Okay, that's radio host and political commentator Max Igan, and he's joining us via Skype from Brisbane. Mr. Igan, thank you very much indeed for your comments here on Press TV.